Welcome to the daily studies. Today is Sunday, the 23rd day of Cheshvan, and it is a very difficult day today. I'm sure you heard the news about the horrific abduction and murder of our colleague, the Shliach of the Rebbe, Rabbi Tzvi Kogan from Dubai. His wife Rivki, she's a nephew of Rabbi Gabi Holzberg, who was murdered with his wife by terrorists, Shluchim of the Rebbe in India, some 14, 15 years ago. It is not easy. My family personally is also close connected. I have a niece and her husband that are still there, Shluchim in Dubai. My daughter-in-law is a very close friend with Rivki Kogan. And there's no words. We don't understand. It's very difficult. It is happens right in the week of the Shluchim convention, that the Shluchim of the Rebbe gather from all over the world, just like it happened with Gabi Holzberg and his wife. And there's no question what the Rebbe tells us. As much as we don't understand those things, as difficult as it is, we must continue and continue strong. We don't give up. We don't give up spreading the light, spreading the peace, spreading love, because the light will prevail. The best thing what we can do, beyond the obvious physical protection and so on, is to increase in light. We actually sent out many Chabad houses and sent out the joint Mitzvah campaign that people should do mitzvahs on his behalf. We're asking Tzvi, Hakohein, Ben Alexander, that he should be going up there and wake up Hashem, so to speak, to end this suffering, and there should be only goodness. We should see already the complete redemption with Mashiach. So, with all this, we continue to learn the Tanya. And indeed, in today's Tanya, the Alter Rebbe talks about the importance, how God treasures every mitzvah, every single mitzvah, what we do, every single prayer, every single time we give tzedakah. And if a person misses a day in the shul, Hashem misses him. He asks, where is he? If a person misses an opportunity of giving tzedakah, if he's part of giving regularly tzedakah and then one day misses it, Hashem asks, where is my tzedakah? Where is my mitzvah? And it is, the Alter Rebbe explains it, why it is important, how every mitzvah helps jointly to bring the greatness of Hashem down to this world. So let's begin with tzedakah. And today, tzedakah shemekareves es hagula. And we will put a link also so that anyone can join. You can click at the link and join this campaign of mitzvah, of doing a mitzvah in his memory. It shall help. This should be the end of everything. We should be able to have the Mashiach very, very soon. So let's begin the way the Alter Rebbe explains what is important of every mitzvah, important of not missing a mitzvah, and so on. This is chapter 30 in Igeret HaKodesh. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Midah zois masher amru Razal kol harogi lovoi lebeis hakneses ve'igrim echad leiba HaKadosh Baruch Hu shoel alo shenemar mi bochem yirei Hashem echulu. It is well known that our sages of blessed memory said that whoever is accustomed to come to the synagogue and one day did not come, the Holy One, blessed be He, inquires after him. For it is written, who among you fears God, who listens to the voice of his prophetic servant, who walked in the darkness and for whom no light shone? In other words, he fears God, he comes to synagogue regularly, and one day he slacked off and he walked in the darkness instead. So Hashem is asking about him. Hashem wants him. Hashem wants you. Says the Alter Rebbe, this is also true with all of the mitzvahs. All of the mitzvahs, any mitzvah, we shouldn't think, there's just one mitzvah, who cares? I do so many mitzvahs, one day I'll miss out. No, every mitzvah Hashem waits for this. And He wants this mitzvah as well. Every single mitzvah. And especially the mitzvah of tzedakah. וכן בכל המצוות, ובפרט מצוות הצדקה, ששקולו כנגד כל המצוות. The same applies to all commandments, and especially to the precepts of charity, which is balanced against all the commandments. So if the above teaching applies to prayer, it surely applies to charity. If a person retreats from his customary charitability, God inquires after him. Now, this letter the Alter Rebbe wrote to a community that, as we mentioned many times, the Alter Rebbe would collect money for tzedakah for people who moved to the Holy Land in Israel, and their economic situation was very, very dire, and he helped them to support them. So there was communities that had their own difficulties. They themselves were very, they had hardship. And apparently one community was not giving the same amount or didn't give that year, I'm not sure. But in any case, the Alter Rebbe writes to them this letter explaining how it is important. When you give regularly, don't stop, keep going, keep doing it. And of course, the Alter Rebbe says, it's not halachically a problem. If a person gives regularly 3 times something, he does something 3 times, it's considered like he made a vow. That is why whenever you do something, if you promise you're going to do something, we always say bili neder. Bili neder means we don't make a vow. Because if you didn't say bili neder, you promise something, and it's considered like a vow, then that's a very, very serious thing. You have to do it. So in this case, the Alter Rebbe says, yes, I know, you guys said bili neder, and you didn't take it upon you as a vow, but nevertheless, as the Alter Rebbe, being that you are exemplary people, you took it upon yourself to be in the next level, then Hashem wants it. You should continue. Don't slack off the heights that you reached. Says the Alter Rebbe, Hagam shehi bli neder chas v'sholem, though one's regular giving is not bound by a vow, heaven forfend. For one should, of course, see to it that an accustomed mitzvah should not become subject to the legal force of a vow. Afal pikei, nevertheless, kol hachayil asher noga yiras Hashem belibam lo yoaso lenafsham elikis lo seis migrois b'kodesh. Nevertheless, says the Alter Rebbe, it is not becoming to the divine soul of all the men of valor, whose hearts the fear of God has touched, that they should reduce that which is holy, for by restricting their charitable contributions, they reduce the downflow of divine energy from the sublime source, which is called Kodesh, which means holy, into the Sephira of Malchus. We'll explain soon that every mitzvah draws down new energy into Malchus. Malchus is the source of life of the worlds, of the physical worlds, and so on. But the Malchus itself doesn't have its own. So it's not its own source of energy. It has only what is given to it from Kodesh, from the holiness, and that is through our acts of mitzvahs. So people should not reduce the level of energy that they bring from the holiness into the Malchus, what they are used to do. Relative to what they were accustomed to set aside annually from their wealth. To revive the spirit of the humble and downcast, who have nothing of their own, meaning the impoverished settlers of the Holy Land. So he b'chinas sukas David hanefeles v'chula, which during the time of exile is referred to as the fallen sukkah of David. As also is its supernal source, the sphere of Malchus in the world of Atzilus. As fallen, meaning the source of the worlds is fallen in a way that it's in exile, and the other forces have ability to nourish from it, and we have to elevate it and to make it holy again, and to make it great again. To raise and exalt it, so that oneness be united with oneness. And everything is judged according to the multiplicity of action. Multiplicity of action means, first of all, to give and give and give and give again. And Maimonides says one of the reasons that's important to give more, rather than just giving one time a big amount, it's important to give many times, because every time you give, you actually subjugate your Yetzer Hara, but also Lefia Cheshvan, and also according to the account, the Cheshvan. And as it says, Kemaimer Azal Kol Putu Mitztarefes LeCheshvan Gadol, thus our sages of blessed memory said, all the individual coins given to charity add up to a great amount. Now, what does that statement mean? What does it tell us? It sounds like it's a very simple statement that every child understands, that every coin adds up to a big amount. Where's the great wisdom in that statement? And the Alter Rebbe is going to explain what that means. That it adds the little amounts adds up to a cheshbon. Cheshbon means account. Cheshbon in the Chassidus, in the Kabbalistic terms, it refers to the level of Malchus. Malchus is where the level that receives the godly energy and divides it and gives it to the worlds. Malchuscha Malchus Kol Olamim, your Malchus, your kingdom is a kingdom of all the worlds. Up until that level, there is no cheshbon. There is no accounting. Everything is one. Everything is about Hashem. Malchus represents the cheshbon, the adding up, the multiplicity that is created using the attribute of Malchus. So here it says that we are creating the Cheshvan Gadol, that Malchus should be a great Cheshvan. And that is through all the pruta and pruta, all the coins, all the individual mitzvahs. And specifically about the mitzvah of charity. Why is that? Because charity is exactly the mitzvah of Hashem. Charity is giving to someone who doesn't have. That's what Hashem does constantly. And this taught by our sages of blessed memory, which When is Havaya great? When he is in the city of our God. Now, this goes on the verse in Tehillim. It says, "Gadol Hashem Mahulal Be'ir Elokeinu," that Hashem is great in the city of our God. What does that mean? So the way it is explained in Chassidus is the city of our God refers to the level of Malchus once again, because this is the city. The city refers to creation. Creation that is used, Hashem, as we mentioned many times in Tanya, that a creation is done through speech. Speech, that says in the Sefer Yetzirah, there is letters create, he calls it about the bricks. Have a letters like a brick that create houses. 2 letters create a house. And a word, words create a sentence create a whole book, and the book creates a library, and many books create a library. Like this goes on. So where a city is bricks that make a wall, that make a house, that make many houses, that make a city. So this is the concept of the creation of Hashem, creating the world through speech, and that is where God becomes great. When is Avaya? Avaya is the level of godliness which is beyond and above. When is he great? When it comes down and brings the godliness into the city, into the Ir Elokeinu, where we do through the mitzvahs, we bring down this godly energy. This is the spiritual state and place of reckoning, the Cheshvan. As it is written, is a song in the Song of Songs, it says, "Your eyes are wells in Cheshvan." So again, what does that mean? Your eyes are wells in Cheshvan. The Song of Songs, of course, is the book of King Solomon, a very holy book. It talks about using metaphors of songs of love and expressions of love. And like the husband says to the wife, your eyes are wells in Cheshvan. Cheshvan was a city that apparently had beautiful wells, beautiful pools. It says your eyes are wells in Cheshvan. But here, according to Chassidus, it gives deeper meanings to it. The eyes represent Chachma, because Chachma is like eyes you see, you get a vision outside of you. Cheshvan is the reckoning. So the eyes, the Chachma, becomes a wells in Cheshvan, in the reckoning. So the great level of godly revelation, which is the top, from the very top, it becomes wells. Where? In Cheshvan. In the reckoning, meaning in the place of Malchus, where there it is the reckoning and accumulating of all the mitzvahs to create all of the worlds. As is known the meaning of the above statement, Ki b'isaruse de lesata, amshochas chaim, chen v'chesed de maise atzdaka, b'rotzen atoy v'esiv uponim yafos, isaruse de leila. That as a result of an arousal from man below, the provision of the means for life, grace, and kindness, by an act of charity with goodwill and a friendly countenance, there is an elicited an arousal from above. The way we do it, when we give tzedakah, and not just giving, but giving tzedakah with happiness, with a smile, with a good feeling, that elicits a corresponding countenance from above. God, so that God will make his countenance shine forth with a radiance and downflow of grace, kindness, and supreme favor, Mechaye Chaim Ein Soif Baruch Hu Asher Legdulosai Ein Cheke V'Asoga Klal, from the fountain of life, the blessed Ein Soif, whose greatness is unfathomable and utterly incomprehensible, and thus not manifest. From that great level bring it to the lowest level, to the place of the revealed world. El Pchinas Malchuscha Malchus Kaleilomim Almedei Isgalia, to the level of divinity, meaning Malchus, at which your kingdom is the kingdom of all worlds, meaning the world of manifestation. This sphere of Malchus animates all the created beings that are in all the upper and lower Hechalot, chambers, which are all subject to counting and reckoning, Cheshvan, as it is written, 1,000 thousands, meaning a finite number of angels, minister unto him. This then is the meaning of the great amount. For numerous acts of charity brings about peace. As it is written, and the reward for the act of tzedakah will bring peace. As explained above in Epistle 12. And what is the idea here of peace? Is again, peace is combining the two extremes, combining the very top, just like tzedakah combines the person who has with the person who has not. Here we combined the extreme level of godliness of above to this physical world. For peace implies the joining and conciliation of two opposite extremes. In our context, these are the extremity of the superior heavens, alluded to in the phrase, and his greatness is unfathomable, referring to God's incomprehensible infinitude. And the extremity of the inferior heaven, referring to Malchus, the lowest of the 10 Sephiros, which becomes vested in the world of Beriya, Yetzira, and Asiya, in a category of finitude and number. This is all the blessing comes to this physical world. With Maven, this will suffice for the discerning. This is the end of this chapter. May Hashem help, we should have only good news. And please don't forget, click the link below to take upon yourself a mitzvah in memory of Rabbi Tzvi Cohen ben Alexander. And we should only have good news, and most of all, we should have the coming of Mashiach very soon. Amen. All the best, and we should see you tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem.